I'm looking at them. You listening to me? You're a fish. And I'm looking for the money. It's in the mouth, not for me, for the work of the kingdom of God. And go take it to them so they'll be satisfied and you'll be satisfied. Listen, Jesus knew what was in Peter's head. And he asked him a question to provoke on the inside the answer of God. You know, questions come into your life many times because God just wants you to know that you got an answer in there. And when Jesus came to Philip, let me quit. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked the disciples, who do people say that the Son of Man is? And they replied, some say John the Baptist, and others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah the prophets. But what about you? I love Jesus' questions. He don't let you off the hook. What about you? Who do you say that I am? And Simon Peter answered, just blurted out. I like them because you know what? That's an awakening on the inside. He blurted out, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now listen, Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this has not been revealed to man by man. Are you listening? This has not been revealed by man, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I'll build my church. What is he building his church on? Peter? No, he's building his church on the revelation that Peter's had. That'll be the rock of my church. You'll get the revelation of God. You'll start thinking like me and acting like me. And when you do, the gates of hell will not prevail against you or overcome you. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Hear this. I'm not going there. I'm quitting with this. But I want to come back to the main one. I want you to get this. Peter said that in a revelation from God came, a thought God thought. Only God could give that type of thought that came through him. But just in a few verses down, we find Jesus looking at Peter. And Peter is rebuking him, says, you're not, because Jesus just told him he's going to the cross, he has to suffer and die. And says, not that's not going to happen. And Jesus said this to Peter, Peter, you're not thinking like God. You're thinking like a man. Are you listening to me? Stay in revelation. Stop thinking like a man and start thinking like God. Oh, but I'm facing some impossible situations. I serve a God of the possibilities. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. He's already thought about it, already put it out there for you. All got to do is reach out, captivate that thought, and put it right in here, and you can follow exactly what he wants you to do. Oh, well, I'm not spiritual as you. Hello? We're all growing together. None of us have arrived. But the only way to find out is to do it. I promise this is it, okay? I had this morning, out of the mouths of children, babes. Linda had her grandsons here, and I was picking at the older one, help me out, Grant. I was picking at Grant, and Grant told me, I'm in the second grade now. And I said, you know what? Caitlin's in kindergarten right now, and Caitlin needs to know some of the stuff that you've learned all the way to the second grade. Could you possibly share that information with her and help her along the way? Because she's still got 2 more grades to come before she gets to the grade you are. And he looked at me, thought about it just a minute, and says, Pastor Rick, I can't do that. I said, oh, you can't? He said, no. He said, Caitlin's going to have to learn for herself. I hear you, God. I can't do it for you. You got to learn for yourself. Because what's going to excite you is not when you see me doing something, but when you see you doing something. I done learned it now. I got it. It belongs to me. I want to tell you, I want to provoke you into the mind of Christ because you have that mind. And when we start thinking like that, everything around you will change. But the most important thing is you will change.